Ladies and gentlemen.
How are you?
And children of all ages.
Yes.
Welcome once again to our beloved film bantering, film chat.
Episode 93.
A reciprocation of ideas, a manifestation of world problems, etc. within our own confined, simplistic four walls before us that encompass each wondrous world.
You're the
film banter.
The eloquent, loquacious one tonight.
Dude, there you go, sir. Well,
the verbal diarrhea. Good to see you.
Yes, as always, official
The handshake, official.
So, anyway, we're back with
back.
another thrill-packed episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you believe it's our 93rd?
I can. I
Yeah,
can believe
I can too,
it.
because it feels like it.
It feels like we've been doing this for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I was just a small, spermatozoa running down the leg of my father.
Exactly.
It's just it's a beautiful thing, dude. It's a beautiful thing.
No, it is. It's nice.
So,
it's nice to
listen,
be back for another
I
fun
enjoy doing
episode.
it. I love the fact that we get to go out to dinner again.
I know. Well, we always went to dinner.
Yeah, but
our brief
did we
period in Secaucus for about 17, 18 episodes, we're relegated to only going to a certain region for dinner.
And
anything around
Mexican.
the Garden State Plaza.
What do we have? Mexican.
Well, we had on the border.
We had that
choose
chicken
from
joint. Yeah.
Chili's.
Yeah.
And then we also had
The
Shake
place
Shack.
inside. Yeah.
Shake
That was
Shack.
good.
That was
I
good.
enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't bad.
Very tasty.
And then we did the one time which you didn't care for at the other place.
Which one? Hula hands?
No, the one. No.
Well, we
one,
did do hula hands.
Yeah, we did that. No, we love that.
Yeah.
No, but we're talking about that one place. The cask.
Oh,
that place.
God, that place was horrifying.
You didn't like your meal. No,
I
it was
did
good. It
not
was just
care
like
for it.
we were just like forgotten in the back room.
They did forget about us. And,
Cask and dog or
well,
something.
we needed to say something,
We
I
had to.
guess, and we didn't.
But the food was good. I had a great meal.
I guess the food was okay. I don't remember it being all that good. I don't remember what I had.
had a really good
You?
salad. I think you had a burger that was delicious.
Oh, I think I may have.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try the burger?
No, but you said it was good when you were there.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
told
there
me
you
you
go.
liked it.
All right. Very well.
Anyway, we're
tonight we
digressing.
went to
This is not
Rhodes-
burger banter.
We went to Rhodes Steakhouse tonight. Well, not Rhodes Steakhouse,
Tavern.
but Rhodes Tavern, which
Sloatsburg,
is in
New York.
New York. I love the place.
Shout out to them.
I really do. I really love that place.
No, it's good
Food
food.
is good. It's kind of a home cooking kind of deal.
It is. It's a
and,
good deal. They have a lot of
very
good
nice
food. They have
indeed.
everything on the menu for the most part.
They do indeed.
Yeah.
Well, let us begin tonight's show. We're going to be talking about we're going to feature Mr. Nicolas Cage tonight.
Yes. And in a brief-
Nicolas,
a
who
brief
has been
offer.
around for many, many, many years now.
Since the early 80s.
He's the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, as
Of
you all
course.
may know. And,
Nicholas Coppola is his real name.
Nicholas Coppola is his
And
real
trivia
name.
for you folks, if you don't know, and you learned this from me a couple weeks ago, is that he got his stage name Cage based on the Marvel character Luke Cage, which was his favorite comic book character
did
as a
not know
kid.
that.
Yeah, and he was a big comic book guy.
Oh, right,
to
right.
the point that when he
You
was
said
having,
he had like $1 million collection.
well, at least because when he had financial problems, I believe he sold his comic book collection for
Did he?
at least $1 million.
That's not very much. But
Oh,
he
it's
was
not bad for
robbed
comics.
by his agent, as I recall.
Oh, he might have been.
And he owed a ton of taxes, but his agent had robbed him.
That's a shame.
And I remember he bought the Anne Rice house down in New Orleans.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is right after he divorced Lisa Marie Presley.
Yeah.
They were married, and for a very short period of time.
Now I forget, was that after Michael Jackson or before?
Oh, way after.
Oh, it was way after.
Oh,
Okay, I can't remember the chronology.
No, Michael wasn't dead yet, obviously.
No, but he married her after that.
And she did have sex with Michael Jackson once.
Just one time.
Just one time.
Hopefully it was
She
good.
said they did consummate. And they said, well, how was it? And she said, it was fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
He
He's Michael
probably,
Jackson.
maybe he tap danced on her, God only knows what he did, but, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
A little Billie Jean for you there, ladies
Rest
and
in
gentlemen.
peace.
Courtesy of Mr. Chris Picard.
But anyway, we're going to
So,
start the
let
show,
us
though.
begin the show.
We want to start
We should
with...
start the rolling escapade.
There's nothing to roll. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
there is.
I forgot that I
You
got.
have to play.
I actually did. I
Aim
got it
it
right
down
here.
here, sir.
I actually did get some nice photographs
No,
from
you
this
have
film.
plenty of them.
So anyway, so if you don't know, Mandy is the new Nicolas Cage film. It's premiered on demand all over the place. It was a big hit at, I believe, Sundance. It got a good word of mouth. And it's directed by a guy, a Greek man named Panos.
What's her name again? Rachel Winehouse?
No, this is Andrea Riseborough.
Riseborough.
Yeah, but let me just finish the thought. The director's name is Panos Cosmatos. His father was George P. Cosmatos, the director who did Tombstone.
This guy right here.
Very
is
good.
Identical to Mick Ronson, the lead guitarist of David Bowie's Spider from Mars Band.
okay.
Dead
Good.
ringer. Hair, every bit. Nose, face, forehead.
I looked this guy up. He's been around a long time. You know who he was? I forgot. He played in the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy. In the original Batman, the first one, when they show Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed, he was Bruce Wayne's father. That's who he
You're
played.
kidding.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh wow! But with brown hair. And...
Well, whatever the haircut was.
Yeah, he wasn't blonde here.
No, no, obviously this is a wig. But anyways, this film basically stars Nicolas Cage.
It does indeed.
In the film, Andrea Riseborough, who we showed before, she's his wife. They live in the middle of the woods. This takes place in 1983. He's a lumberjack, and very early on we see.
Be careful! Your hand almost hit my.
It was here. It wasn't there. I'm watching. I'm watching.
So he puts it that much closer to
He's
prove
so
to me that
paranoid.
it wasn't there.
It's true. So anyway, in the film, his wife gets abducted by this religious cult, basically.
Yeah, she's come on to, first of all, and then she's abducted by this cult.
Yeah, but that's all we're going to say. No spoilers for anything else.
You might say it's a religious cult. It is, in fact, but it's based around him. It's all based around the worship of him. He's the Jim Jones, if you will, of the cult.
His name is Jeremiah Song.
Yeah, right. There you go, Jeremiah.
And so in the film, though, what's weird is that
in a song many years ago.
I mean, in the movie, though, this cult drinks this liquid that's very hallucinogenic, and they're able to conjure up these biker riding demons, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was kind of disturbing, and they come to assist them in this abduction situation.
Yeah.
And then basically he's left almost for dead and has to go get revenge on the guys that took his wife away from him.
Yeah. He gets tied up quite a few many times in this.
There's the director.
There's our director.
Panos Cosmatos.
All right. He looks like a Greek man that he is, in fact, giving advice to Nick here.
Yeah. I heard Nicolas Cage interviewed it, and he had said that the director originally wanted him to play the cult leader, and he said, no, I want to play the other guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder who would have played Nicholas's role had Nicholas played the cult leader.
Would have been interesting to find out.
Would have been interesting.
You know,
maybe they would have switched it and made the cult leader the Nicholas.
Could have been, although they'd probably get more of a name, most likely. You know?
I think he looked a little old for Miss Winehouse there.
You mean Riseborough? You think Nicolas Cage was too old for her?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
No, I love older men.
She looks like, well, this is true. Well, although I haven't experienced that so much.
You know, I love Nick. He's a great actor.
You know,
I don't care what people say about him. He's great.
He
takes risks.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
He just doesn't always choose the finest films. But
sometimes financial problems.
Sometimes sometimes I think his agent is just one of those guys, as we've mentioned before.
But I think
he picks up the phone, he'll take it.
Yeah,
whatever thriving horseshit that they want to throw at Nick. Much like De Niro these days, and there are other actors.
But you know what I think too? There's a couple things to that. One point about Nicolas Cage though is that he, at the end of the day, he's a fan. He's a comic guy.
Yeah. And
he probably just wants to tell a crazy story. So he might not necessarily care of, okay, maybe it's not the greatest movie, but I want to be involved in telling this movie's story. So he just wants to have the fun.
No, I agree.
And then another point,
the last film he was in, do you remember it?
Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
He has so many that come to video.
Well, the
Dog
last
Eat Dog was one of the last ones.
No. The last film he made was a film called Mom and Dad.
Oh, Mom and Dad, that's right.
And
we
it
talked
starred
about that.
Selma Blair.
It did, yeah.
And him.
Yeah, it was a horror.
It was a horror film about people who are made by some alien presence to begin murdering their children.
Yeah.
So, and I thought Nick was great. I mean, it was really a campy kind of role.
I thought he was fun, but I didn't love the film.
Yeah, I understand.
Mom and Dad specifically.
Yeah, no. It's not a great movie.
No.
And
But
it's
real
silly,
quick, before I forget this thought.
Okay.
On to De Niro when he said he'll take it.
Yeah.
It was interesting that I listened to, I think I told you, the unabridged audiobook of Bryan Cranston's autobiography, which he performed. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I love to hear
You gotta listen to it.
I have the book, but
in that he was talking about how he met De Niro at one point, and this was right after Cranston jumped to fame after Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And basically what he said was, he asked De Niro, why do you work so much? And he said, honestly, he goes, in terms of, if I had to choose between doing a film and being in a protective environment or going out in public all the time, he's De Niro. He can't go anywhere, probably.
Well,
so
that's not true.
He likes being around other people who are in the same industry. He can have that freedom to just be himself and not have to be on guard. Because you're on a set, it's a protected environment. So that
even,
could play into why he wants to act all the time.
Most people do take a break and they,
No, of course he's not doing it 24/7. But it kind of, it's a little bit of insight into his thought process, I guess you could say. I don't know.
I guess.
But anyway, back to Mandy. We're digressing. I really enjoyed this film right off the bat. I thought it was very visual.
Absolutely.
Very visual. It's definitely director's film.
It's got an ambience to it. I like the atmosphere of the film. It builds up immediately. A lot of night. There's nothing filmed in the day.
Synth.
I don't believe anything's in the
There's
day.
a little bit when he's working in the lumberjack as a lumberjack. There's scenes of him out in the daytime. His wife's taking a walk. She's reading in the
okay.
bedroom at one point.
No.
They have like windows throughout their entire bedroom, so he's like, there's no walls. You just see right outside of it.
Right.
So there was daytime. I remember one scene.
Yeah. I think it's a beautifully made film.
I agree.
For me, it was just a little too long. It's 2 solid hours.
Funny,
to the
I
minute.
didn't feel the length on this
Really?
movie. I didn't.
I have a very good friend who works at a music store, and he is a horror freak, and he loved this movie.
Yeah.
Just thought it was a 10 out of a 10. I probably go a 7.5 on this film. I didn't love it as much as I kind of wanted to. I thought the ending, this is a revenge film, first and foremost.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
No question. As we know, Andrea here.
She gets kidnapped.
She is abducted.
Yes.
By this cult, and
He wants to go rescue her.
And I thought that the payoff, if you will, and it kind of goes methodical. It's not, they're not all in a room together. We meet our people.
Yeah, he's going like piece by person by
meet
person.
the children of the corn, so to speak,
Pretty much,
that are
yeah.
here. We meet them, and he meets them kind of one at a time, which to me seemed ludicrous. That, here they're all together constantly, and yet, well, here, look, I mean, they're all together.
Yeah.
And they're living together, sleeping together. But now when Nick goes to find them at the end, they're just all one by one, alone in an office, or not an office, but in a barn.
In his old house,
wherever the hell they are. I thought that there was silliness there from time to time. I just, the anticlimactic aspect of it, we have the various, we go up the ladder of the value of the person that
Of course, yeah, you go
has
from the
get his revenge
the
upon.
guy that means nothing all the way up to the mini boss, and then finally the main
Correct.
guy. Yeah.
It's like any video game.
Exactly,
You're
yeah.
waiting for the main boss.
But there was some really good
I thought
fight
it was
scenes
very-
and deaths.
No, there were.
thought there were
I
some
just
really
thought
good
it,
ones.
I thought it
I
was
enjoyed it.
kind of pushed quickly by. Maybe they had spent a lot of time on the first 35 minutes. She's not abducted till like 35 minutes.
Well, that's the second act. Yeah.
Well, no, I agree. I agree. But of a 2-hour film, it just, I don't know. We had a lot of setup, and we didn't need a lot of setup. We have Nicolas Cage living with her. We did do a little more setup on the cult itself.
Yes.
But I did not enjoy the pace, but a 2-hour film in a comic book mode, of which this almost plays out visually and theatrically. I thought that I thought that it was a little bit it was a little too long for my blood, but I still did enjoy it. I would recommend it to anybody. A 7.5, as I say. I mean, out of 10 is still a
I'm going to give it
good review.
an 8 because I liked it a little bit more than you did. I give it a big yes. I would say check it out. It's worth watching.
Yeah, it's unique.
It's a film that I'm definitely going to watch again. And as I said before, I love the atmosphere. You mentioned it too.
It's
the atmosphere
really
this film
the
sets
music.
up. The music was my next point. I'm a big fan, as anybody who watches the show knows. I love synth. I love it
I
from
don't
the
know
80s.
if I call it a synth.
Well, no, it's part of this. The genre that it's called right now, it's called new retro.
Okay.
It's heavily electronic music that
But sounds like
harkens back.
strings to orchestra.
Well, yeah, but it
sound.
also harkens back to the vibe of 80s movie soundtracks.
Interesting.
That's a lot of it.
Okay.
Drive with Ryan Gosling had a lot of that. And many other films, you can say, even Tron Legacy had a good amount of that kind of music. A lot of electronic stuff. And so this film had that, but it also had orchestrations. I thought it was a very good score that I took note of. So for me, when I take note of a score, that's an important thing for me. What are you snickering about?
I'm just laughing because life sometimes is funny.
Is
But
it?
it's not actually funny now.
Okay. So it's not funny now.
I'm just laughing
All right.
because I'm being forced to.
That's okay.
So
Anyway, I recommend it. I say check it out.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
No,
think
no,
it's
it
one of his
isn't-
better
it-
films of the past few years.
Well, no question there. It felt like it actually had a budget.
Yeah.
Many times that when you do see a film and you can tell that the budget's not
Like
great.
the one we reviewed last week, that Netflix film Prodigy.
Oh God!
You can tell that was
just-
shoestring budget.
That was just one of the worst things ever. But they can mask things with great soundtrack and great, just some kind of a blurred visuals.
Or good performances. Like for me last week, Prodigy, that movie Prodigy, as it wasn't a great film.
Well, we
but
had
what-
one performance.
The actor that played the doctor,
Right.
he kept my interest because
He did.
he had a good look. As I said, he looked like another actor, and I thought his performance was pretty good.
No, the
Considering
dialogue was
considering the
fairly
film he was
fairly well done to some extent.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with the little girl in Prodigy.
No, she wasn't anything. She wasn't Dakota Fanning in I Am Sam. She wasn't Haley Joel Osment. She
No, she
wasn't
wasn't.
Ricky Schroeder in The Champ. You know, she's nowhere near that league.
Okay. She wasn't Shirley Temple in Animal Crackers in My Soup either. But
throwing back something for the senior
there you
citizens.
go. Something for you.
He likes to keep the seniors interested
I
in
want to
film
keep
banter.
the bedpan audience on their toes.
Yeah.
At all times. I don't want you to be falling asleep there. I know you're watching Jeopardy and you think your mind is sharp, but you know sometimes it's not.
It's
so
not.
There we go.
So final thoughts on Mandy before
Final
we move on?
thoughts. I definitely enjoyed it. It was just a little too slow moving for me, but that's about it. That's a minor complaint because it's so beautifully done.
It is
really
beautifully
is.
done.
It's a beautifully made.
This director is going to
work.
have a long career.
I think so too.
I want to see his last film now that he did.
Which was?
Which I didn't write down. It's called Beyond the Black Rainbow. I hear is awesome.
Gee, I
want
know
to check
that
it out.
film.
According to Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Interviewed, he goes, I saw his first film.
Why don't you move on to our next film?
I'm going to. And he was blown away by that film. That's what made him want to work with him.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Beyond the Black.
Beyond the Black Rainbow. So we'll
we'll
look
check
into that, and we will be
yeah.
reviewing that pretty soon.
Just gonna go return.
I know
And
what I'm
now
doing.
you're gonna go
I
to
know
rest.
how to operate a
Okay.
device here.
Okay, so this is all we have left now?
Yeah.
Just posters.
So just so you know what's coming soon tonight, we have Assassination Nation.
I'll put it up there.
We have.
Well,
you
we'll
wanna-
do
you
that
don't want
right
to tell
now.
them everything?
Sure,
All right.
we'll do it right now.
All right. Anyway, so Assassination Nation. I didn't see this film, so he's going to review
I
it
did go see the
in
film.
the most succinct way possible.
I went and saw this film.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
I think maybe you didn't love it.
I did not love this film.
I didn't think so.
And film is about an hour and 40. It says an hour and 50 minutes long, so I knew I'd get out of there about an hour and 40 minutes, which is exactly what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I was grateful for that. No, I did not like this film. This was torture to watch.
It didn't look good.
It doesn't look good.
I'll say it has a great poster, though.
It has a nice
It's
poster.
a captivating poster.
Our cast is not bad at all.
Suki Waterhouse is one of them. She's the one that
Correct.
was in that movie we reviewed several months back. Remember, it was a
Banter.
post-apocalyptic film with Jason Momoa. We watched that here. I watched it with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
What was that called?
It'll come to me. I have to look it up. I
It
don't
may
remember.
come to you.
But she used to be, or is still dating Bradley Cooper? I don't know.
Oh, is she? Which
That's-
one is she?
I don't know in that poster. Maybe she's that one. I'm not sure. Because she looks different there.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure. It might be this one. It might be her. She might
No,
be.
she's a blonde.
No, she's not blonde.
She looks brunette to me there.
That is brunette.
But I'm saying Suki Waterhouse, I don't think is a
Well,
brunette.
she could have been.
That might be her with the pink.
Well, this is our star. This is our main
She's the star. Then I think that's Suki, I'm pretty
That
sure.
could be Suki Waterhouse.
I'm pretty sure that's
Okay,
her.
very- I'm glad we've established
Who
Bradley
is Suki?
Cooper's love life here.
Yeah.
Always important on
Love
our
banter.
on film banter, dude. No, I hated this film with a very severe passion. This is a crude, rude film.
Crude and rude.
It really is.
For you to be not liking that.
You know, there is the P word that refers to female genitalia.
I see it.
Is
yes.
constantly
In this
being
film.
used. It's all pussy this, pussy that, pussy this, pussy that. And women are more or less take upon their role as sex objects in this film. And then they resent it. It's set in Salem, Massachusetts, so we're trying to allure to a witch hunt, which does kind of occur later on in this film.
Real quick side note before we move on.
Okay.
That film was called The Bad Batch.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Suki Waterhouse,
Interesting.
post-apocalyptic film with Jason
Okay.
Momoa.
Interesting.
All right, back to your review.
Okay.
So they say
now
the
you've
P word
derailed
about
my train of thought. But
You were saying it harkens back to the Salem witch trials.
it does indeed. Well, that's what I think the reference to setting the film in Salem was for in the first place. But you know, this film is so crude. It's filmed in a sense that never leaves the characters ever to be simply alone talking to each other. We have this very over-stylized bit of, now the music is good. I hearken it just a notch, believe it or not. A lot of reds in use. I hearken it back to Mandy, just a notch. In the film style, the stylishness of it. Like Mandy always kept you in that ambient, that circle, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You were always in the feel of the film. It never stopped. I mean, we had moments there where maybe Nick is staring out the window, but the film generally just kept this very almost ethereal, dreamlike state throughout the whole film for me. Just the redness, the constant, the camera movement. It was all very surreal. It was beautifully done. Mandy on a visual level is a 10 all the way.
Of course,
absolutely.
yeah.
This film is nicely photographed. The acting isn't bad. It's just it's a sour story to me. I don't know who their audience was. It's a very there's a violence. There's kids. When I say kids, I mean teenagers in high school, and they're overreacting to each other via media. Somebody will have sex. One of the interesting notes in this film is the man who played the clown in It.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård
I saw that he was in this.
Is in this film, and he's not bad. He's a very. I can't see how. I mean, you know, I'm looking at the man trying to figure out how did somebody come to the conclusion that he was going to be the clown. And
isn't that interesting how that works?
It's a very bizarre thing. You know, they had to put him in full makeup, I assume,
of course,
or something.
It was like even Tim Curry in the original was an interesting choice, and I loved his work.
Tim was hot off of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and this, of course, was 15 years later that it was done. But
well, I love what he did in Legend. As Darkness,
he was
that
great.
was incredible.
That was wonderful.
Incredible. If you haven't seen Ridley Scott's Legend, watch it just simply, if anything, for Tim Curry's performance as this
Tim
demon.
He is the devil, basically.
Robert Picardo is also very good as a goblin.
Who's the young girl?
That's Mia Sara from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller, exactly.
And Tom Cruise, obviously, the star.
Tom Cruise is the star. But back to this film, it's so sour and so evil and mean. It's a mean-spirited film. These young girls are getting. There's a lot of texting going on. Our star girl right here is having an affair with the father of someone she babysits for. Actually played by Joel McHale.
Yes.
Joel McHale is an
I also
odd
saw
choice.
that he was in this. Yeah,
he's an odd choice. I mean, usually he's a comedic actor to some extent. He's a good comedic actor.
He was in Happy Time Murders.
He was indeed, and I liked him in that. That's a tongue-in-cheek kind of film, obviously. But this is a serious movie, and this just it's almost worth seeing because it is so stylized, and I like that about it. But the actual subject matter is so sour and so crude, and I just didn't like. There's an attitude of almost a hatred for women. They hate each other. They love each other, but they hate each other, and they kind of...
It's almost like self-misogyny?
Misogyny, I don't know if that's quite the right word, but there's a self...
It's not that extreme.
It's not a self... I hate to say self-loathing, but it's almost like they do all hate themselves in a very severe kind of manner that brings
That doesn't sound appealing for a film.
No, it's not. And I don't know who their audience was because we move on to this it's almost like a text war that's going on. People begin to lie that
getting tired of that
somebody gets raped and you know it's basically that story. It's kind of a Me Too movement film taking advantage of the pussy nation, if you will. It really is what it's about. And these four women are at the forefront of this revolution, if you will. The film kind of ends in a violent manner where the four of them are, you know, heading down the street a la the Wild Bunch and, mowing down various police, etc. Boy, the film just for me, I can't really say that it actually worked. As a piece of visual entertainment, I never could really take my eyes off the film. I was always entranced by its aura. It just had, but it was it was the momentum of the. That's easy for you to say, but the momentum of the film is such that it never allows you to actually listen to the characters in a quiet, intimate way. We never ever have that throughout the whole film because of the stylishness of it. It just never really allows us to let the film be absorbed by us. It's just like a very glossy photograph at all times, and we never get to really go beneath the surface of it. And I would have liked to. The characters are all well portrayed. These four girls, I think they're not all that much different. Here's our main star, very good little actress. Don't know if you have her name.
I believe it's Odessa Young.
Okay.
The three main stars were Odessa Young, Harry Naff, Suki Waterhouse,
And
another one named, her name is Abra.
okay.
And then Coleman
Not Abra.
Domingo.
Not Abra.
Not Abracadabra.
Cadabra.
Not her.
Oh, good.
They couldn't book her.
You know, they
Yeah.
probably tried, but she's
But I
in
didn't-
Vegas. She
I don't
does
know
all these
which-
magic shows all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know which one is which in the picture.
Well, it doesn't
I know.
matter.
I know.
This
Suki,
is our main star
Then
right
that's
here.
gotta be
and she's
Odessa,
kind of
yeah.
at the root of this whole.
She's new to me.
She's having sex with. There's a lot of sex going on. There's a lot of multiple partner sex, and I'm not opposed to the morality of judgment of anybody, and that's not my thing. I'm not interested in doing that, but I just felt the film was really on the crude side.
Okay.
I'm not a prude.
This is shocking coming from you.
I know. I'm not.
For you to have an objection about anything in that area is interesting.
No, I'm
'cause you're,
not. No,
you're very
I'm
open-minded.
not objecting it. I am. I believe you're
You're
right.
very
Thank you.
liberal in the best sense of the term.
Thank you.
Especially with
Certainly
cinema.
with
I would say I am as
sexual
well.
cinema, whatever cinema you want to call it. I'm open to it.
Sexual cinema. That's actually a whole shelf over there.
Wasn't
in
that
your
called porn? Yeah, I think that's called porn.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's what it's called. Well, I was born to be wild, ladies and
bedroom.
gentlemen.
And maybe there's another dimension. Sexual cinema is the term for pornography, and it's not just called pornography.
No, it is called pornography. I don't even know how it ever got that name.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's called sexual cinema in
porn
another
come from?
alternate dimension
Who
somewhere.
knows? Who knows?
It'd be interesting.
And why are they called porn stars? I mean,
Well,
are they stars? Are they stars?
I guess in that swimming pool
Well,
with
they
the big
are.
fish.
Well, they are. They
Yeah.
are indeed. I mean, there are
would say so.
various women who really are.
Famous.
And in the porn world these days, some of the women are extraordinary. Could very easily cross over to
Hollywood.
mainstream
Yeah.
Hollywood. There's
Yeah.
no question. But and some have tried. There was a specific one of the first porn stars back in the '80s. Her name was Tracy.
She
Lord.
made it into some films, yeah.
And she made it into quite a few.
I remember her
films.
in Blade specifically.
She was in Blade, and
Yeah.
one of the first
one.
opening right in the disco at the
She
beginning.
was a
right?
great scene.
And she actually was underage. Her name Tracy Lords. She
remember
was
that. Yeah.
underage. She
Yeah.
was 16 years old, and then 17 years old, and she was making porn. But she was a very endowed young woman and
Of
very
course.
beautiful. So she went on to when she only made one film that she was actually of age to be in a porn film. She made about 60, 70 films perhaps, but only one of them was legal. And it was
That's
called
true.
Tracy, I Love You. It was
Yeah.
her final performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please check it out on
Thanks for that knowledge.
IMDb. Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, we should move
But
on.
anyway, we should move on. But I'm going to have to give a big. I'm divided on this film. I truly am. I hated it from the start. I have to say, I really did. I didn't like the vibe that it was giving off. It gives off a very negative, anti-female vibe, almost right from the start. It comes across as almost a masked camaraderie amongst the women, but the film is really a downward view. I'm not sure. And then it takes a different view from the female viewpoint. So we have both sides. It's like a Donald Trump war going on here. But it never really just comes to a proper fruition. It overkills its own style to such an extent. I know I'm just saying the same thing over and over, which is something I enjoy doing.
Exactly.
Something I enjoy doing.
So why don't we
Something
move
I
away
enjoy
from that?
doing. Something I enjoy doing. Something I enjoy doing.
Ba-dum-bum.
So let's move away from that and let's put another
So we're gonna
film
go on to
destroy the imagery of
The
my
next
television
film.
set.
Not. It has to be a long period of time to ruin your TV.
Well, I don't even know if you could ruin this TV because it
It's
has
such
so
good
many
quality.
millions of pixels.
Exactly.
Okay, so
So
we
this
have
is The House of Tomorrow.
Yep.
This is a film that you can watch. It's available online
I
on.
recommended it to you.
Yes, and Amazon, YouTube, Google Play. It's available. You can watch it at home. And this is a film that is extremely interesting. I gotta say, it's with Ellen Burstyn. She actually produced the film as
She did.
well. Asa Butterfield, who you may remember from Ender's Game. He's
Right.
grown up a little bit now.
He was in something. He's been in a couple things.
Yeah,
also.
no, he's been working. Alex
Wasn't
Wolff.
he in Miss Peregrine's?
I have to look him up. He
I think
possibly
he was in
yeah.
Miss Peregrine. Yeah.
Here we have Alex Wolff.
We just saw and reviewed him about 2 weeks or no, what
No,
am I saying?
over a month
2 months
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
In,
In the film Hereditary.
Hereditary.
He's
He was-
really kind of becomes the main star of that
And
film.
he was also he was the lead in, the child lead in Jumanji. He played the young
correct.
Rock.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He was the geek.
Exactly,
He was the
yeah,
nerd guy.
he is. And then
Yeah.
here we have Maud Apatow, Judd Apatow's daughter with Leslie Mann.
Oh, is
she
that her?
plays.
Oh, wow.
They're
Please
siblings.
don't-
I'm not even near it.
You're very near it.
I'm not.
You're
no.
less than
I
an
had,
inch away.
No, I had
You're
like
about an
3,
inch
4
away
inches.
right there.
I had inches.
I see where your finger is.
You mean like that?
It's just a finger.
It's
it
fine.
doesn't matter. Here we have.
And then we have
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman.
From
Great.
That show Parks.
He was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
He's been getting a lot of work.
Right.
I thought he was excellent. in
Married
this
to
film.
Megan Mullally from Will and Grace.
Exactly.
But,
Would you like to give a brief premise of this film? Or no?
Well, Alex Wolff is a man. He's suffering from a heart ailment.
Well, yeah.
A kind of unnamed
He has a heart
disease.
We find that before the film started, he had a heart transplant.
Oh, correct.
About
He did
6
indeed.
months.
And this is a friend of his.
Yes.
And they just kind of, they are friends together, and...
Well, the interesting thing, too, sorry to interrupt you, is that Ellen Burstyn and this, they live
correct.
together. She is his grandson.
Right. And she's
they live
kind of
together.
the leader of a cult in a way.
Well, not really. It's just a way of living that's
There you go.
a little
Well, that
different
is
from what everybody
cultish.
else.
No, that is cultish.
They live in this dome almost. It was
Right.
almost very similar to Epcot Center, because this is based on the life in a way of the architect that designed Epcot Center.
Yeah,
In
but
real
this
life.
is a,
This story features it's just not a real person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I did not
and
know.
then it's, I believe, told through the imaginary point of view of these kids.
I see.
But it's about how this sheltered kid starts to come out of his shell when he meets
Alex
this
Wolff,
young guy
right.
here, Alex Wolff,
Yeah.
when they come to the home that they live in, because they do tours there,
Right.
which is very strange. And this kid
Correct.
he's still learning how the world works.
He
He's
is.
almost awkward in every way. He's only eating organic stuff, and he doesn't know
So he
where
meets
grilled
Alex
cheese
Wolff
is.
here, and Alex is a vivacious.
Yeah.
He's a very grab life by the balls because he knows he may not be here tomorrow.
Exactly. They want to start a punk
He's
band.
got to live right. So they begin to start this punk band, which we finally get to at the end. We have the young sister. I thought she was terrific.
Maud
by the
Apatow was
way.
very good.
I thought she was
She's got
great in this film.
She's got potential for a good career.
But let's categorize this film. Is it a drama? It is a drama,
It is.
more so than anything. I
More
maybe
than anything, I
some
think. A little comedy, but not too
little
much.
comedy, but not too much. But it's a drama. It's a teenage drama film.
It's not like dead super serious though. It's
no,
not.
no.
You know.
It's got.
It's not
moments
Sophie's
of-
Choice.
Well, because of the illness that he's going through.
Well, yeah, that's a
That
thread.
gets
yeah.
that gets rather serious.
interesting, yeah.
That gets very serious, in fact, in a very life-threatening way for him. I think he plays this great.
He does a great
I
job.
love the acting of everybody.
I thought this was a great film.
I
And
love
they were
this
all
movie.
excellent. I thought.
I agree.
This is one of the better ones I've seen in a while.
I recommended this to you,
Yeah.
and I had already seen it,
Yes.
obviously, and that's why I recommended it to you. But I was caught off guard by this movie.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
I
Happy
simply
to
put
stumble
it
on it. It's
on.
online. You can watch it.
I put it on one day. I'm sitting here watching it, and it very slowly I got into
Me
the
too.
lives of these two young boys and Ellen Burstyn and Nick Offerman as
was
the
really
father.
into it.
Yeah, it really is a very warm film. You know, some films are very cold, a la Assassination Nation. That's a cold film. You're, as an audience participant, to be sitting there and witnessing Assassination Nation, you feel like you're just an observer. You know, it doesn't bring you into the film. This brings you into the film. We are very much a part of the lives of these people,
agree.
and we like
You
these
care
people.
about all of them.
You care about all of
Yeah.
them. You love even Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah.
Even though
She's very good.
kind of distant, she kind of pushes her young protege here away. That's her grandson, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, she kind of pushes him away, and he then goes to live over at Nick Offerman's house and be with his friend here, and moves in, and
Yeah.
and they all become, and then he starts a relationship with.
Well, let's not give
I don't
everything in
wanna
the
give
film
everything
away.
away, but
We want them to go see it.
But it's a warm
Great.
film.
Get it online. It's really good, guys.
I really loved it. I have to
It's one
say.
of the gems I found.
Absolutely.
You know, there is every few. Doesn't happen often, but I'd say every few months on this show,
Yeah.
we will find a gem.
This
And
is a gem.
This stands out.
Totally
One of the
agree.
ones from a while back that stands out was one we both liked, called Their Finest.
Yeah.
Another one for me was Before I Fall, I believe. It was.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
like
was
a
a
Groundhog-esque.
great- yeah, that was a
Groundhog
Groundhog
Day-esque
Day kind of
film.
thing, correct.
About a teenage girl.
Yeah, I remember
So I love
getting
it when
that
we
too,
find
yeah.
one of these movies that come
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one.
No, you'll
it's a
give
gem.
me,
Well, that too, I'd give you some.
Clodhopper. What the hell was that movie last week with the two guys in the woods?
Caliber, that was good.
Like Clodhopper, and you give me Prodigy to watch.
Well,
so I turn around, I give you gems, ladies and
Yeah, but I
gentlemen.
didn't know what to. I didn't know Prodigy. I thought Prodigy just looked cool because you were saying we were both saying
From
we gotta
now
pick
on,
something from Netflix.
When we pick a Netflix film, there's so many Netflix films out there. I don't want to mislead people. I don't want to give people films not to watch. Because on Netflix, you're so inundated with movies. We need on Netflix.
Yeah, but I don't want somebody else to fall for the poster like we did. That's why it looked cool to me.
All
So
right.
we're giving them an advisory. This is
True.
a public service.
But
don't waste your time on Prodigy.
But you and I wasted our time on Prodigy.
Yeah, but we did a
And
public
to me,
service.
You know what?
It's like mowing your neighbor's
From
lawn.
now
for
on,
them.
this is what we have to do with Netflix, I do believe. Because Netflix is a very iffy
It is
medium.
But I don't want to just pick
you
things that
don't
have a lot of
always
high
get,
rating.
You
know?
don't always get great films
You
from
don't.
them.
Most of the time, the films you don't.
Yeah, and
TV
if it's
shows are good.
specifically made by Netflix, you can almost bet your bottom dollar it's going to really suck. But what
You mean
Netflix
as
do,
opposed to the acquisitions?
well, what
like Prodigy
it's
was an acquisition.
Well, all
You know?
films are actually acquisitions. Almost every film made these days ends
no,
up being
studios
bought.
still make movies for
studios
themselves.
still do, but then they'll go to a Telluride convention or a Sundance, and they sell the film.
Well, the independent companies do, not the big studios. Though.
Well, there you go. Yeah, the big studios are still the big studios.
like
Universal.
Miramax buys movies at these,
correct.
well, the old
Right,
Miramax,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah, however you want.
Now it's Legion M, which is one that actually is owned by fans exclusively, or Lionsgate. Although I think they produce their own stuff.
What's that new one I see? I see it all the
There's
time.
so many
The
companies
script,
now.
It's got like the C script at the beginning.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
It's black and the white
I know what you're
lettering
saying.
and-
Yeah. I don't remember.
I forgot what it's called.
I
Like
know what you're
curvature or
well, there's so many of
something
these
like
companies
that.
now.
I know. I mean,
a-
when you turn on a film now,
Six companies come on.
companies come on.
Yeah.
And very rarely is one a big one. Usually it starts out, you have, you'll see IFC.
Mm-hmm.
I love the one where you see the little girl in the room. It's a horror company. And there's a little girl, and she's like in.
Isn't that like Blumhouse or something? It's one of the
I think
horror
it is.
companies.
Yeah, it is. It
I
is.
like
Very
Scott
good.
Free.
Scott Free.
Ridley Scott's company. It's the one with the cave with the light, and the guy starts running, and he turns into a bird and flies out of the
Oh
cave.
yeah. That's kind of cool.
It's cool. Lionsgate's pretty epic.
Yeah, Lionsgate's nice. It's got that big, beautiful Lionsgate.
What's the
and it
one-
turns into a lock, I
It
believe.
does, yeah. What's the one with the looking glass? Spyglass Films. Remember that
Spyglass.
one?
Yeah. Well,
And
that
then-
was
That might be defunct now. Spyglass.
I'm not sure, but
try-
wasn't Spyglass? Wasn't that Clint at one point?
No, his has always been
Malpaso.
Malpaso. Produced
yeah.
all of his films.
Yeah.
Another one is
Malpaso.
Lakeshore Entertainment. It's a kid running off a dock, jumping into a lake.
Oh yeah,
we've seen that one.
I mean, you get 6 of them at the
It's a lot,
beginning of each
yeah,
film.
exactly.
Certainly a film like this, they're not going to say who produced it.
Well, this has two here. There's got Superlative and Shout Studios.
There you go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
But then
anyway-
you also have down here. No.
No, that's the writer director.
Okay, there you go.
But The House of Tomorrow is
We loved it.
Like we said, it's an excellent gem.
Loved it.
Highly recommend you check it
Highly
out.
recommend, and
I
it kind
do.
of ends with a concert, and there's just a warmth about this
There
film.
is. It's a very human
dialogue,
film.
real,
Yeah.
feels real all the time.
I agree.
Feels like we're not even acting. Gotta say, I keep wanting to go back to Assassination Nation because, that film really does perplex me. It's gonna irritate me. I don't think I could possibly sit through it again, but I almost want to. It's a stylish film, but it just alienated me right from the start. And very often I need to understand why sometimes, and I don't always understand why. Let us move on to our
Sometimes
next
it's hard.
one. We really did like this film.
We did.
a lot.
I highly recommend it. Two big
Absolutely.
yeses here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very
This film,
human little
the
drama.
the children act
I just
with-
watched it today.
Me too. I bet you we were both racing to finish it at the same time.
Could very well be.
I finished it at 5 o'clock.
Did you?
And I ran
oh
out the
my
door.
God, I finished it. I started it at 2.
Yeah.
I was done by about 3:45.
Okay.
So let's start right out.
The Children's
with this
Act,
film.
it's with Emma Thompson.
Yep.
You can watch
She
it
is a
on all the
judge.
streaming platforms,
She is a
Amazon,
judge.
Google Play.
She's a judge in the film.
Yes. Takes place in England.
Correct. Stanley Tucci plays her husband. A young man in the film is played by Fionn Whitehead.
Yes, he's very
plays
good.
A young man named Adam in the movie.
Yeah, I liked him.
This is a film about a judge and the private life of how a judge becomes obsessed with so many cases that she alienates her own love, her own husband, beautifully played by Stanley Tucci. I don't think I've ever seen Stanley give a bad performance.
I was gonna say I don't think so either. He's very good.
he's
I always liked Stanley Tucci.
He's just solid as a
He
rock.
has a
and
great presence.
Has a great presence. He's very calming.
Yeah, he is.
There's a great brilliance to just how enshrined as a person he truly is. He must meditate or something. I just get that feeling about him because he's just so peaceful at his core, at his center. You don't often see that with actors. Most of them are, you know, Brando was totally calm at the center. You just knew that. You knew that about Marlon Brando. He just had this essence to be able to just do whatever he wanted with this canvas called the human body. And I love that about, and I like that. And Stanley, I get that very cerebral sense of peace with him. I don't know what it is. I have to say, I'm going to say right off the bat, this is a drama. This is about a young man who is a Jehovah's Witness. His parents have decided that he should not have a blood transfusion because it will go against their beliefs that God takes care of all things that are sickly, and that we do not interfere with the medical world to interfere, basically, to redesign the life thread that God, you could tell about it.
So, but you were on to something there.
But no, it's true. It's true. You know, there's a life thread amongst religious folk, and certainly the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, they're very extreme with the way they view the medical industry.
They're like the Amish. Yeah. They don't really go into the whole world of, you know, if somebody gets sick, God, we will pray for that person.
I know, that's what they do.
That's how we will alleviate their pain and suffering and death. But that always doesn't work, as we all know. So, because this young man is underage, he has now been brought to by the courts to decide whether he should, in fact, have imposed this particular law of coming to the aid of a minor, even though his parents are of a religious belief.
So basically, he needs a blood transfusion.
Needs a blood transfusion if he is going to survive, if he is going to live. And
so she has to make that decision.
She has to make that decision. Of course, it is on the books that she can, in fact, do this very thing. But it's a very, here we are. We all make choices. Hers makes history.
It's a very interesting film. I gotta say.
I love this film. I love this
she's
movie.
Always excellent. She's always putting out these little gems too.
You know, I tell you something. There were moments in this film where I broke down and cried. I kid you not.
It's very good.
She's so Emma Thompson. You know, if you've ever had any doubts, and nobody ever has, she's like the Helen Mirren of the opposite polar spectrum.
She's like the British Meryl Streep.
No, well, you know? I would say Helen has that ability also, but Emma, you know, Emma always kind of plays Emma, though, I have to say. She doesn't really delve out into a Meryl Streep world where she's, you know, she'll play.
I know what you're saying.
That Germantown film. You remember that great movie that she made with Brian?
Alone in Berlin.
Alone in Berlin. Good film, yeah. Who's that? Ralph Gleason?
No, it's
Brian Gleason?
Brendan Gleason.
Brendan Gleason.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the father
of Donald Gleason. Who's getting a ton of work.
Who gets a ton of work. He's a red-haired lad. He's in all
You know him. He's in the new Star Wars films. But the Imperial Leader.
He was also in that Christopher Robin movie from a year ago.
Yes.
Which was called Something in the Woods or something.
Isn't it Hello, Christopher Robin?
No.
Is that what it's called?
No. The new one is called Christopher Robin.
Oh, you're thinking about the one... Yes.
The little boy.
When he played the author.
Margot Robbie.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, I love that film.
Yeah, that was a good little film.
That was a great little film.
Yeah, well,
and beautifully shot. And I love the countryside.
Gorgeous. The lighting with the trees.
Margot Robbie, wonderful. She's
That's
there.
That's a good film.
Who's the father in that? Well, he is.
He is, yeah. What's the name of that film? We'll look it up. I don't remember. That was very good.
It was a great little movie. But regardless, we're going to go off the subject here. Emma's fantastic in this film. She does have to make this decision whether she's going to save this young man or not. The film takes a very, after that decision is made, the film takes a very bizarre little twist for me. Where the young man...
Yeah, well, let's not get into what it is.
I don't want to get into that too much, but there's a twist that I found uncomfortable.
Goodbye, Christopher Robin. Side note.
Oh, you were
That's
right.
what it was called.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, I said hello, Christopher Robin. It's goodbye.
Well, it's goodbye, Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
But no, I know there's an interesting, weird
there is an
twist
interesting little twist where kind of a love thing begins to
unfold. Let's not say anymore.
Well, I'm not giving much away. I'm just saying anything that the trailer would say. So...
Well, if somebody hasn't seen the trailer, you know. Sometimes it's nice to go into film without knowing anything.
That's why I love that. I live my life doing that. I do not watch trailers.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't escape the trailers.
Make it a point to get there right. I wait 20 minutes to the minute. I walk in there. I get there right as the film starts.
Yeah.
Although I was a little upset because that recent that Nazi movie with Ben Kingsley.
Oh, you mean
Occupation.
Operation Finale.
Operation Finale.
We reviewed last week.
I actually got there about a minute late. The film had actually started. I was very upset.
You can never guarantee the full 15 minutes of trailer. Sometimes
No,
you get less.
20 minutes. It's 20 minutes.
I
And
guess that makes sense.
I like to walk in when the two assholes in red are sitting there going, "Oh, we work for Regal Cinema, and here's our film." And they show their
I don't go to Regal, so.
Oh, okay. Well, they
I'm
always
an
have.
AMC guy.
They always have these two guys, and they show a film about how the popcorn experience and
I know.
people sitting in theaters, and it's just an ad for Regal Cinema.
Of course.
But they have these young kids. The new one that these guys did was really great, where the popcorn freezes in midair, and it's very good. I mean, and very often, what I personally like to do is after they show. You have, Mutt and Jeff. It's usually two Korean kids sitting there. They're the billion people on our earth these days. Or Chinese, Japanese, whatever they may be. They're Asian folk. And not to single out them, but they seem to be making more movies than anybody else in the Regal Cinema chain. So when the kids come on and they say, and even if it's a packed theater, I don't give a damn. The kids will come on and say, and here's our film. I always go, yeah! And then at the end of the film, I always, at the end of the little, minute and a half commercial for Regal, I go, bravo, bravo.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
By the way, I had a private showing yesterday.
I almost had one.
Of Assassination Nation. Not a single other
I almost had
soul.
one for White Boy Rick.
I'll tell you this. I was very grateful for that reason because I was able to just sit and play with my phone the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the film, but I was so unenamored with it. It's just such a hard film to watch. It's so repulsive. It really is. It's a repulsive film. I don't ever want to see it again. I said earlier I'd like to see it again, but it's very stylized, and there's something about the style of it that I enjoyed. It had that, Quentin Tarantino has literally changed our landscape of film to some extent. He's given us a momentum that goes back to the 60s, 70s, 50s even, if you will. And he's just taken that momentum and he's given it new wings. He's given it style. He's given it an ability for every moment of a film to have a precious element to it. And I love that about Quentin Tarantino.
Like I say this a lot. Pulp Fiction, it's my favorite film of all time. It changed my life.
Okay.
In a weird way.
Jeez,
It just
not for
opened
me
up,
at all.
opened up my brain. Well, I was still in high school.
Okay.
And I didn't see anything like that at that point.
All right.
I mean, I still love the original Star Wars trilogy. That's in a different area. But I like to say that Pulp Fiction is my favorite because it's a real film. Whereas the Star Wars films, they're more pop culture, more.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just
they're
point out
more
one thing.
entertainment.
These
They're
damn
more
kids
movies.
today, do they appreciate Citizen Kane? Do they appreciate some of the great films
I like
from
Citizen
yesteryear?
Kane.
No,
but I'm not gonna, it's not my favorite.
Star Wars, that's me,
Hey,
man.
shut up.
There's Lawrence Arabia. There's great movies out there, incredible films of our lives, of our world.
It's a different
Star
thing.
Wars, that's my favorite thing.
Shut up. I grew up with those
Come
movies.
on, just kill me already.
Shut up. Like, you don't have things that you love from your childhood movies you watched as a kid? What, Planet of the Apes films or something?
No, I never cared for those.
Oh, please. There's something you watched as a kid that is not necessarily, high caliber cinema, but it's one of your favorite movies of all time. Come on. Don't be a movie snob.
I don't know if
you
I
just
have
the
anything.
Star Wars films just didn't they didn't
always just
captivate you
let me
the
be
way it did
frank.
my generation.
Let me be frank.
Please do.
Strangers in the night,
Yeah, getting the
two
material.
lonely people, we were struck.
Uh-huh.
No, not that frank.
I understand.
But let me just say this. I've always had and always been drawn to great movies. I really have. You may call me an
Everybody
elitist,
is.
an
I am
elitist
too.
snob. You may call me that snob, but films of a certain, did I love the Star Wars films? The Star Wars films to me, it's a game. It's a gaming movie. You're sitting there and you're enjoying the ride while you're there, but then when you go home and you reflect, you say, wow, that was a great ride. And these movies are great repeatable watchings, Star Wars films. They always are. There's so many different characters. There's a whole landscape of amazing creativity.
But what's wrong
there.
with that? Why is that?
Nothing.
Why does that have to be?
But I don't put it in the.
Yeah, but why does it have to be the bastard stepchild of Lawrence of Arabia?
Those are still.
Why can't it still be a great film?
B film. It's still a B movie to me. It's
All right,
never
well,
going
to your preference. That's
It's never
fine.
going to thrive for greatness. It's never going to have great. Emotional. Well, there are some great emotion.
There's some great moments in those in the first three Star Wars films
I agree with
that are more iconic than something you might see in a movie that won an Oscar.
Possibly.
Because just because a film well, I guess this is a different conversation in terms of Academy Awards, but just because a movie wins Best Picture doesn't mean it's going to be a great movie that I'm going to want to watch.
Spotlight.
Crash. Crash is arguably the worst,
liked Crash,
but not worthy of being Best Picture that year.
Oh,
that was a weak few years anyway.
No, you know, but it just
Crash,
had that social thing going on.
It did, but
with guys confronting cops, confronting.
No, I
this.
know. It's a one-time viewer.
Well, look at Spotlight.
Same thing.
Same thing.
But are you ever going to come home and say, I got to get home? Why? Crash is going to be on. Nobody's ever going to say that.
You know, I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater.
Neither have I. I don't want to.
I want to.
No, I don't.
Oh, I do.
I don't love it that
want to
much.
see it.
It was well done, well acted.
I love the David Cronenberg Crash. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, of course I've seen that.
That's
yeah.
a bizarre
That has more replay value than Crash.
Well,
and I like Paul Haggis'
that.
films. This is not a bash on Paul Haggis. I like his films.
Okay.
You know, I love State of Play that he did. That's a fun. That was great.
Oh, that was Ben Affleck.
Paul Haggis, he did that film, right? I'm second guessing myself.
I don't think so.
But that's a good film. That's a film about journalists. Yeah. State of Play. That was good. Yeah, Russell Crowe's a journalist.
Right, Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is a politician in crisis, but they were high school roommates.
No, absolutely.
Takes place in D.C.
No,
I really like that
like
film.
that film. I did.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
Russell goes to jail, and they have to break him out of jail.
That's a different movie altogether.
What movie is that?
That's another Paul Haggis film with him. That's with his wife. He has to break her out of prison.
The blonde Maria Bello or something.
No, I thought it was. Why do I feel like it was Elizabeth Banks?
Abby Cornish?
No, was it Elizabeth?
No, it might have been Elizabeth.
It was
Banks.
Elizabeth Banks.
You're quite right. You should get the name of that film if you can get it. The other one.
I'll look that up next.
Russell Crowe is broken out.
Oh, I'm totally wrong. It was Kevin McDonald. He did. Yeah, he did State of Play.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, interesting.
Paul Haggis did the other one we're talking about.
The other one we're talking about.
It was called like 15.
All right. Well, let's get back to the Children Act. Did you like this film?
I liked it. It was very good.
Yeah, I
enjoyed
it too.
I give it a high recommend. It's a good film. It's not a film that I would say is as entertaining.
It's a mature
as
film.
The last film we reviewed.
Yeah,
which I loved.
It's a mature film for a mature
This is a more
audience.
mature film
for mature
that's
audiences.
still great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why you didn't care for it too much, you know.
Well, I didn't say I didn't care for it too much.
No, that's true. You
No, I liked it quite a bit.
I just wanted to make the joke that you're not mature.
I understand. Oh, shut up. You're funny. Your joke died on other people.
Did it?
No,
No.
no, it was okay.
But seriously, folks, I love this movie. I really loved it. I loved Emma.
It was called The Next 3 Days, by the way.
There you go.
I knew it was something
Not a
with
great
daytime.
film, but it was okay.
Not as good.
It was watchable.
It wasn't super great.
It was watchable.
It was watchable.
Sometimes, you know, Russell used to be one of those
Liam
guys.
Neeson was in that too.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. But Russell used to be one of those guys who just took everything and, you know, did
I
a lot of movies.
think only when he first got the big break.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you got to do.
God, I love that movie he made
You know?
with Ryan, though. That buddy cop movie that he
Nice
did.
Guys.
Yeah,
Shane
I
Black.
love that film.
Yeah, that's a great film.
Shane Black, yeah.
He did that.
Of course, who did
and Kiss,
Predator.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Two great
Shane
films.
did that too?
Yeah.
Oh, God,
I
how
love
did he
Kiss
screw
Kiss.
up Predator then?
I don't know. Studio pressure, maybe? Who
Maybe
knows?
so.
Because he's
I
kind of
don't
been
know.
doing studio, like, big films. You know, I think when he does his side movies.
Okay.
You know, do one for them, one for me.
Yeah.
I think
It could
the
be,
ones
could
that are
be.
the ones he really has the
There
passion
you
for.
go.
He does these to
That
kind of
was his
supplement that.
Dune, so to speak. He had to sell out a little
He kind
bit
of did.
to do that, just as David Lynch did all those years ago,
Oh, yeah.
1983, I believe that
Well,
was.
that was his first try with a big studio, and he's like, yeah, not for me.
Who are you talking about?
David Lynch.
Oh, correct.
Like, that was a big studio film.
Well,
the
that
only
was
one
a
he really
Dino De
made.
Laurentiis film.
De Laurentiis, yeah.
absolutely.
Big-time producer.
And then for making Dune, Dino, we discussed this already, but Dino then allowed him to have full, total control of Blue Velvet, which was his next, and made David
Obviously,
Lynch.
so then it was worth it.
They put, believe it or not, there's a little sidebar to Blue Velvet, something I would have loved to have discussed during our David Lynch show about a month ago. But there was one particular time there where I totally lost track.
Well, if you come back to it.
No, I'm
bring
going to
it up
get
again.
it. I'm going to suck back. I'm going to rewind my brain here and go back there. Okay,
We'll come back to it.
Go back.
Children's Act, we both recommend it. It's a good film.
It is a good
You
film.
can watch it on the
Let's
streaming
go to
platforms.
the next one on Kill My Television.
Oh, stop. Hang
Oh,
on.
the Puppet Master.
No, we're going back.
Oh, are we?
Oh, damn it. Hang on. Stand by.
Well, let's do. I'll do.
No, I forgot to do White Boy Rick.
White Boy Rick.
I want to do White Boy
Well, you
Rick.
should do White Boy
I'm going to
Rick.
be quick.
Yeah. 'Cause
So this was supposed to be number 2. Somehow I forgot about it.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. It doesn't mean the movie's forgettable. White Boy
yes,
Rick.
it probably does.
No, it doesn't. White Boy Rick stars Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Oh, I know what happened.
Hi. Yeah, you hit the play button.
I know.
You gotta hit the pause button.
I know, I forgot. I got so excited and I forgot.
Well, you do that.
I'm like a dog when you walk in the room.
Oh,
they pee everywhere and they're excited, and they leave us presents.
I'm so happy that you're.
White Boy Rick. So it stars Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
In the film.
McConaughey.
It takes place 1983 in Detroit.
McConaughey. Hi.
We find out right away he's kind of a hustler. He sells, goes to gun shows and sells guns on the streets of Detroit. Not the best father in the world. His son is a 16-year-old kid who we pretty soon find out he ends up becoming a
played by Richie Merritt, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us that. I've never seen him before. Have you?
Who?
Richie Merritt?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, it's his first film, I think. So, as I was saying, he becomes the informant for the FBI, and then eventually becomes a drug kingpin. The kid, the youngest. It's a true story.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he becomes a drug kingpin.
Oh wow!
All under the age of 17. All before he turned 16. Yeah.
Why couldn't that happen to me?
And this is a true story. So it's all
Why couldn't
about.
I become a drug lord?
Yeah. It's all about this kid's kind of rise and fall, and his father.
His rise and fall at the age of 17.
Yeah, and then his father is kind of an accomplice throughout the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
In a way.
All right.
But this movie, I recommend it. I say you can wait though to see it at home. You don't have to run out to see it.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I don't recommend the film.
Not a big screen
It's just
film.
not a big screen film necessarily.
All right, cool.
But it has a grittiness to it that really pulled me in. This film is very depressing though.
What would you compare it to? In the gritty element.
Gritty,
kind of like,
it's just, well, first of all, it's deliberately.
When you say gritty, is there some violence?
No, what I
deaths,
say, okay,
or-
not gritty tonally, gritty visually. It's shot on a lower grade quality
Oh,
film,
okay.
which is on purpose
I like that.
to make it look like the 80s. This takes place in 1983.
Okay.
Everything looks worn, seamy, and it's abject poverty of Detroit, 1983.
Oh, wow.
They're living basically in the ghettos.
Well, sure.
You see the dilapidated nature of the environment they're living in, abandoned homes.
Where Aretha Franklin
Yeah,
lived,
exactly.
and all the guys. That's
Yeah.
where Motown started.
Oh, that's where it was, yeah.
Sure.
And so you see that these guys are living in this very trashy area.
Yeah.
And it's all about their life. Everybody's just scraping by.
What year is this set in?
For the third time, 1983.
Oh, it is 83.
Yes.
I was just looking at the cars
Yeah,
there.
it is. Yeah, and everybody in this film is just scraping by. You see, there's the local drug kingpin, which is an African American guy, and his crew of people.
How was he?
He's good. He's good. He's played by. I want to mention because he was good. I liked him. His name was. Where is it here? His name is
Hours later.
Jonathan Majors. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
He was good.
All
And the girl you like, Belle Powley, plays his trashy drug addict sister.
Belle Powley.
Yeah, the British actress that you love. She's in this.
Okay.
She plays the sister. She's like a drug addict.
Belle Powley.
Belle
The name
Powley.
doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, that's her.
Ring a bell, Powley.
Yes, it doesn't.
But,
And so
there you go.
also fun supporting performance by Bruce Dern
Ah,
as the grandfather.
Oh, yes, I did
and
see
Piper
Bruce's.
Laurie is the grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen her
Okay.
in a long time.
there you go.
So this film is it's a very depressing storyline. I actually left the theater. I was kind of feeling a little down.
Were you?
Yeah, it's just a very just a depressing film to watch. The nature of the story,
I see.
the visuals especially.
I'm sorry you got sad.
For about a minute, then I got
Yeah.
over it.
Did you go to the young? Where did you see this film?
I saw this film at the Willowbrook Theater in Wayne, New
Oh,
Jersey.
okay.
They're brand new recliner seats that had heat, which was nice.
Wow.
The whole theater had that new smell.
I
could
love
smell the fresh wood.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
I had a very enjoyable experience watching this film. I'd say it is a 3-star film.
Okay.
I thought Matthew was
I
very
believe
good.
that. I
I
believe
like
it.
Matthew.
I
I've
believe
always
it's a 3-star
been a
film.
fan of Matthew.
I like him too. You
I'm
know,
a big fan.
some films I didn't like that one he did.
Some are better than others.
Down in the swampland.
Mud, I didn't care for that
I
film
didn't
either.
like Mud, and
That
then there was
wasn't-
another one where I think it was Paperboy, the one with Zac Efron. Wasn't he in that also?
Oh, The Paperboy. Zac
Yeah.
Efron, Nicole Kidman, John Cusack.
Right,
I never
right,
got to see
right.
that one.
Oh, you didn't?
I
see
didn't.
it?
I want to see
Oh,
that one.
jeez.
It's been on my Netflix queue for like 2 years.
Good.
Yeah, I got to
It's
check it
not
out.
bad at all. It's
I'll watch
on
it.
Netflix.
But I love
What are you waiting
Matthew.
for?
Lincoln Lawyer was great. Obviously,
I love Lincoln Lawyer.
Time to Kill.
I did. I love
But
Lincoln.
White Boy Rick, he's very good.
Okay.
Is it a
The little
nomination?
Caucasian kid here.
He plays the father, yeah.
Oh,
He's
you
the
mean
father
Matthew.
of the kid.
I thought
Matthew.
you were talking about the
No, I'm saying
Caucasian
Matthew.
kid, White Boy
No,
Rick.
Richie Merritt was good. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought he was very capable.
All
He did a
right.
good job.
Good.
He played a little punk.
All right.
Belle Powley was very good as the drug addict sister.
I love her.
Yeah, this film is peppered with good performances. Will he get a nomination Best Supporting? I don't know.
Probably not.
It's a possibility,
Now,
but
when
I'm
you say
going to
he,
say
you mean Matthew or the kid? Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a question. This might be a Best Actor category, actually.
For Matthew?
Yeah, he's in almost every scene.
Does he play
gets-
Matthew pretty much in that southern drawl kind
Well, I
of?
think Matthew is always going to be Matthew, but he
Not
doesn't have
always.
his drawl
No,
isn't as pronounced.
You know,
in this
he
film.
wasn't in his big Academy Award.
Dallas
winning
Buyers. Well, that's
drawl.
true. He's very good in that.
I didn't think he
But
played
I
a
like the
southern,
Matthew that he plays.
Yeah, I liked him.
I like him as an actor. He's really in his
He's very capable.
prime right now.
No, he's very capable.
I think he's very good.
And he went through a whole period. You know, we could almost do a Matthew McConaughey
We
show.
could.
instead
He
of a
did the
Nicolas
whole.
Cage.
I'm going to get my.
That would be
paycheck.
more interesting.
Yeah, we could do that.
to do
Why don't we
a
do Matthew?
Matthew.
I should have thought of that for this week. Well, why don't
That
we do
would've
this?
been good.
Why don't you go see White Boy, and then we'll do it maybe next week.
Well, I'll wait till it comes out on
on Blu-ray
on-
DVD.
on
All right, we'll
paper,
do it.
computer,
We'll
yeah.
do that when it comes home.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway,
But,
I don't need to say too much more. I really enjoyed White Boy Rick.
Okay.
It's not a must-see, but it's a good film. It's enjoyable, and it has good performances. But you can wait to watch it at home. That's totally fine.
Okay, I got you.
So we're gonna move on
Okay.
to Puppet Master.
Puppet Master, the
Another film that
Littlest
was
Reich.
Another film that was unseen by me.
You know,
I haven't seen one of these movies in years, and I always like them, but they're not great films.
they're horrible films.
But they're entertaining.
You know, the real cheesy thing about these films is when the puppets actually move, you don't see, they don't do an animation thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just see the puppet from literally above hand level.
Of course.
That's all you see. You just see the puppet like, you know, like this. Well, I mean, literally, you never see the puppet full. Well, you might if someone throws it against a wall, then you see the puppet hit the
So,
ground
yeah,
or whatever.
they always look fake.
This movie is so bad. It's just horrible, god awful. There are some very intense deaths, I will say.
They always had good deaths in these films.
You know, I will say this. It was kind of there was an original film trilogy called Trilogy of Terror.
Yes,
It
I know
starred
that.
Karen Black and
Uh-huh.
3 separate bits.
I've seen that.
But at the very last one, believe it or not,
The one
it's
with the
coming out.
pygmy creature?
Yes.
That was creepy.
It's called Voodoo
Yeah, I've
Doll
seen
or
that.
whatever.
Yeah, it's a little
The
pygmy.
little voodoo doll. That was what this should be.
I know, that was
they
horrifying.
animated that little thing, and
They
he
did.
would. There's a time where
remember
he's
the
under the
spears?
bed.
Yeah.
He's under the bed, and Karen Black is running around in her nightgown, and he's stabbing her in the feet.
I remember that.
And it was a horrible kind of a thing.
It was.
We do have a scene similar to that in this film.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of shocked me today. I went over to a specific Best Buy, and they had a series of movies that come out in 4K, which is the elite world of Blu-ray. It's the next step up. It's 4,000
pixels, 4,000 pixels,
yeah,
basically.
Exactly. And instead of well, actually, it's not. They've now proven that 4K is only about 2,000.
Oh, so it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Everything's
It's
bullshit.
not actually.
I was thinking the thing.
Yeah, it's more
everything
2000.
about living on this
Yeah.
planet is bullshit.
It's
From the
twice.
second you're
yeah,
born to the second
I
you
know.
die, it's all bullshit.
I don't know why they just don't call it 2K.
Yeah.
But they don't, because that would give them the leeway
Why-
to then have
why
4K
2K?
come out. I don't know why 2K.
Yeah.
But in fact, 2K was a big moment in our lives.
It was, and
Thought
it was
that
all
the computers
bullshit.
were all going to break down.
I remember
and
I went to see, let's see if the water's still on. And it was
I
fine.
know everybody
Silly.
was freaking out.
But by the
So
way, this was
stupid.
always my favorite character in the Puppet
Yeah, yeah,
Master
yeah.
films. He's a skull that almost looks like the Shadow. You know, Orson Welles' The Shadow. And he has a blade as one hand, like a knife. The other hand is a hook.
Okay.
I always thought that was cool. But they're not great films at all.
No, by any means. But Thomas Lennon, believe it or not,
He's
who
the
I
star.
think is a great. He's in that Miami series. What is that series? Isn't it Miami something or other?
I'm not
it's
sure.
about not a Super Troopers, but there's a cops. There's cops and they all wear shorts.
Oh, were you thinking of that old show, Reno 911?
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
And they made a movie out of that.
They did,
which
yeah.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was very, very funny. But anyway, Thomas
He's
was
good.
great. They did an upgrade on The Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Him and Matthew, what's his name from Friends?
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, who has the same frog neck that I personally own. But I'll tell you, this film is so badly done. There's some nice little deaths. As I say, when the creatures walk, you just see the camera never goes below that, and you can almost feel the guy shaking.
It's basically about dolls, puppets
It's
that come to
basically
life.
about dolls that come to life, and this,
Yeah.
of course, represents that's the Littlest Reich. So this is a kind of a Nazi thing.
Well, because they went Nazi in the third one.
Did they?
When they
Oh, okay.
actually were good.
Yeah.
the puppets became good to kill the Nazis.
There you go.
Yeah.
But they always starred and never had anybody of any fame ever.
Not
in these
that I
films.
can recall.
Never, ever,
Yeah.
ever. There's a lot of nudity in this film.
course.
Not a lot, but there's enough to so that you're not focusing on how bad.
Well, they
the
know
movie
they
is.
know what they got to put in
And the
there
violence,
to get
the
people.
death is good. It looks great. In fact, that's where all their money went. Was in some of the slashings,
Of course.
and where torsos are ripped open and guts are coming out of people getting stabbed with knives through the door, etc. And we've got some great visceration here where bodies are destroyed. But the film is just such a drag and I mean, you can never take it even remotely seriously. It's not scary. It's just, where is this little guy going to pop out next and stab somebody in the throat? I mean, that's really all it comes down to. So I have to give it a huge
It doesn't
thumbs down.
seem compelling.
So
to me.
much glorious slaughter. Uproarious and bloodthirsty, says Nightmare on Film Street. Birth, movies, death. The craziest goddamn movie of 2018. It's by no means crazy. If it were even a little bit crazy, I probably would have enjoyed it to some extent. But it's just so unimaginative. It's basically, to give you a miniature of the plot, though, it's about a group
Do you
of...
really need to, though?
Well, it's about a group of people who all own these puppets.
Yes.
And they all get together at this convention to sell the puppets. But literally, do we know, we don't find out until they all get there, that this is really a convention put on by the Germans to get their puppets back so they can kind of do a world domination, bring all the puppets to life,
I understand.
and then make all the puppets just start killing everybody.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like, so the films come to,
Yeah.
they're coming real life. Like A New Nightmare, that Freddy Krueger film
kind of.
where
Well, there
the
is a
actors
kind of
were
a-
then haunted by Freddy
Well,
Krueger.
there's a crypt off camera, basically, that they kind of go, that Thomas Lennon goes to originally, and we find out about this crypt through a tour guide that's given to them, and they find out that the main life force of these little puppet dolls is entombed in this mausoleum.
Interesting.
So we go to this, and so basically it comes down to kill the root, kill the puppets. So
Of course.
I'm sorry if I ruined the film for you all, but
I don't think anybody's
that's
upset
basically
about that.
what happens. But this really is a film for if you're into the puppets, then you might just
If
like
you've
it.
seen all the other ones, you know
But
you're
if
going to
you've
probably
seen-
watch
if you've
this.
seen all the others,
I haven't seen one since
if
part
you've
3.
seen all
so.
the other, you're deeply disturbed because there's no reason to have seen all the others. And they took a 20-year hiatus. It's
It's been a long time.
A long time.
Well, no, not
since-
that long. There was one that
Check
came
it
out.
out. Tell me when it was.
There has been one, at least one that came out since the 2000s.
Really?
I think so.
Maybe you're right. Maybe in like 2006 there was one or something. But these are garbage movies.
hang
with literal no. Thomas Lennon,
I'll
who
look
was
it up.
a very funny guy. Well, look it up and shut up while you're doing it, so I can
Shut
keep
up.
talking here. But Thomas Lennon, who is a very funny guy, no humor is ever brought into play here. Which, for me, there's another character who plays his friend in the film, who really was funny. I don't know why Thomas Lennon doesn't crack a smile, doesn't crack a joke once. And I like Thomas Lennon, but I got the feeling that Thomas Lennon, in fact, I like him a lot as an actor. I think he's
I think he's good too.
I think he's good. And I think he was probably a big fan of the original.
Well, why
films.
else would he?
Why else would he do
know?
it? And I kind of felt that as you're watching this, that he was paying homage to a childhood
Of
dream.
course.
As you just mentioned, of course, in my elitist self.
Yeah, like I would-
only loved great films. I only loved films that were great. Films that had power and depth and beauty and passion. Those are the films that Daryl K. Smith.
I'm happy that you're happy
And
with
if you
your love of film.
if you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn. You might
Exactly.
want to buy, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, it's Purple Master 2, Master 3.
All right, that's enough. Nobody gives a shit.
You don't
Let's just
care?
move on.
Okay, the last one before this was Puppet Master Axis of Evil in 2010. I knew there was another one.
Okay, so it's only 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to move on. I'm
so
sure
let's-
you're all
please
very
do.
happy.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing now.
World War III begins on your shelf.
says
that's
that?
the tagline.
Oh, come on.
No, look. I'm not kidding.
That's it.
World
I
War
gotta see
III
it.
begins on your shelf. Look, on your toy shelf.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
That's the tagline. Yeah.
So
the
now we're
little
doing
puppets. Okay.
We're going to be doing the career of Nicolas Cage,
Nicolas Cage?
briefly. We're just
Okay.
going to cover 2 movies that we both like, just for a brief entry into his career.
What
Obviously,
time
we
did
can
we
do a whole
start? How
show.
long have we been running now?
I don't know.
exactly
I lost
sure.
track. I think we're about at 40 minutes at most. Well, it's 9:21. So
Okay.
I think we started 8:30ish, perhaps.
Did we?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're
can
going to
run a
cover a
little
few
over.
films. Well,
Yeah,
we're
but
going to just
because
do a
of-
brush over it. You know, we're not going to get too in depth.
Well, because of Mandy this week, which,
Yeah, we
which is
decided
kind
we'll
of
cover some of his films.
which is kind of a return to sorts
Yeah.
for Mr. Cage. Of just,
I think he's ascending a little more out of the bog of B films.
Well, you know,
A
I
tad.
really
He's getting
want
over
him to.
it.
I
Me
want
too.
him to.
I want him back in the theater.
I want him
all
as
the
an
time.
A actor.
I agree.
I really want him as an A-list
You know who
actor.
needs to do that? Tarantino needs to do that. Get him in there. Something.
Well, he could do that.
Please do
if
it.
Anybody would. Yeah.
Quentin, if you're listening, we'd love you to do that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Get him out of there. Get him
Yeah.
out of the bog like you did for
Well,
Travolta.
maybe 50 people away from Quentin are watching this now, and maybe if they tell that their friend, and they tell their friend, 50 people later, then Quentin might actually.
As long
hear
as it
about
gets done.
As long as it gets
That's
done.
all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So we're going to cover his
But
career
Nicolas
briefly.
Cage, he did win an Oscar in 1995
For, Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas
Exactly.
with Elizabeth Shue.
Exactly.
Great little film. It really is a.
Directed
You know, I didn't
by
love that
Mike
film.
Figgis.
Right?
No, yes.
Was
Yes,
it?
Mike Figgis
Yes.
did that. The writer.
No. Yes.
Because it wasn't a
No.
Paul Verhoeven film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Adaption was written by the same man, correct?
No, Adaption was written by Charlie Kaufman.
Oh, that's
who
correct.
wrote
No,
Being
no.
John Malkovich.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think he also wrote Death Becomes Her. Did he do that
No,
film?
I don't think so.
That Robert Zemeckis.
I know the film with
Yeah, yeah.
Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, and Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I like that film.
Yeah, it was
It's
entertaining.
a fun little movie.
Yeah, it was a clever movie, actually.
Who was the first actress?
Goldie Hawn.
Oh, it was Goldie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, back to Nicolas
And their
Cage.
heads keep falling.
Exactly, it's kind of fun. Yeah,
It was kind of
people
fun.
that couldn't
Robert
die.
Zemeckis, yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of a kid.
So anyway-
And that hadn't really been done before.
No, I remember that.
People were
There's
all
one
talking about,
scene where there's a
how did
hole
he
in the
do that?
stomach and the
Yeah.
hand goes through.
Yeah, right. We had never
check
seen
out
that
Death
before.
Becomes Her. It was a
Yeah, I know.
pretty new thing when
We
that came
see
out.
a lot of that in the Littlest Reich, by the way.
Yeah, of
the
course
Puppet
we do.
Master, Littlest Reich. We see a lot of the, hole directly through somebody.
pretty cool.
And they still continue to talk.
that was a
et
neat
cetera.
film.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in Nick Cage, I find that
No,
he.
it wasn't a neat film. The Littlest Puppet Master.
Oh, I'm saying next. I said.
I just said that you said Puppet that they used that quite a bit in that film, and you said, oh yeah, that was a great film.
Well, no, I was still speaking about Death Becomes Her.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a neat film.
No, that is a neat film.
But on to Nicolas Cage. I just
On
think
to Nicolas.
one of the things
There
I
he
like
is.
the most about him is that you have to watch him. He's watchable. Like, there's a scene with Nicolas Cage in it, I'm gonna watch it. He's an interesting person to
He
look
is
at.
interesting.
And he does a lot of interesting things. Sometimes they're crazy.
Yeah.
But he takes a lot of risks.
He
And that's
does.
what I respect about the guy.
No, I totally
He really
agree.
does a very, very good job at guiding his career in interesting places you wouldn't expect. A lot of people probably
Absolutely.
wouldn't go and take those risks. So I
Well,
admire him for that.
I think it has a lot to do with filmmakers and independent filmmakers specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let's face it, he is kind of a god of the independent film.
Yeah, that's where he
if you
came from,
will.
yeah.
That's where he came
And he
from.
likes
then
to reside there still.
ascended into mainstream, and then he kind of now has taken a very long toll back down into the depths of that real indie kind
Yeah.
of production and so forth, which is great for him. But I think that specifically, I think that I have a feeling very seriously that very often roles are written for him. I think not necessarily a Mandy. I mean that was a visionary kind of
Exactly.
film in itself, and a unique film just because of the
Extremely
visionary
unique.
aspect of it. It really is extraordinary.
Yeah, it has a very captivating look to it. The poster captivates.
Yeah,
the trailer
it's,
captivating. Like, what the hell did I just see?
You know what the whole thing looks like
So
in my
many
humble
colors.
opinion? It looks like the Apocalypse Now scene when Brando comes out
of the water. Yeah.
And you have that. No, actually, that's Martin Sheen. That is
Martin
not-
Sheen. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Martin comes out of the
I know.
water
I know the
there,
shot you're talking
and
about.
there's just a very severe. There's a lot of coloring from Apocalypse
Mm-hmm.
Now, kind of remnant in Mandy. I think it takes a lot of homage to that in a way. Now that I think of it, there's a lot of just massive color usage, but mostly it's reds. It's intense reds.
Movie very red. It's probably the most
The
red
reddest
film I've ever
It's
seen.
probably one of
Mandy
those-
is so red.
It is so
And his
damn
character's
red.
name in that film is
I know.
red.
I know.
Which is funny.
There you go.
So why don't we move on and talk about the first selection of his
There we
career?
go. David Lynch's Wild at
David
Heart.
Lynch's
I
Wild
believe,
at Heart, 1990.
Actually, this is like David's fifth film. He did Eraserhead.
He did.
Then he did
Elephant Man.
Then he
Dune,
did Dune.
Blue Velvet.
Then he did Blue Velvet.
And
And
then
then Wild at Heart right
Yeah.
here.
So, it's
Do
a-
I love this film? It's probably my least favorite. We discussed this in
Of
our
Lynch's
David Lynch
career.
film.
Your least
Yeah.
favorite?
Well, it is.
More
it
so
is.
than Dune? Or you don't consider that a Lynch film, really?
I
I
really
think that's what you
don't.
said.
I mean, I just started watching it again. I have it sitting over here, and I just began to watching it. I got literally about 20 minutes into it, and it just, there's Kyle MacLachlan
Yeah.
rolling around in these
I remember,
these
yeah.
boxy kind of glowing, mirrored
Yeah.
boxes that he's kind of going through, and I just thought it was so silly. I had to turn it off. He's fighting with, I believe, is it Jose Ferrer? I think it's Jose Ferrer, in fact. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter, but I couldn't get through it. I think Nicholas is great in this film.
I agree.
He wears his snakeskin jacket, which is a symbol of his something and his something. His power and fidelity as a great human being. I forgot what the actual term is, but this is a Laura Dern had just come straight out of Blue Velvet. It's a very sexual movie.
Very visual film
very
too.
Visual film.
Very vibrant with the coloring.
I
remember
agree,
a lot
but,
of coloring.
Just the film itself doesn't. We've talked about it.
I know.
It's not a linear film. It is a film with no absolute
Arc.
There's no arc. There's no. This is a series of scenes basically that kind of almost. And when we get to the end, and Glinda the Good Witch, played by Laura Palmer, played by
Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn comes out of the sky. We don't even care anymore.
See, this film is it's one of those films that it has a story, but it doesn't have a plot. Really,
there's no.
There's
plot.
a difference.
Well, a story and a plot are the same thing, my friend.
No, there's a difference
No,
between
there
the two.
isn't.
Yes, there is a difference.
There's
Yes,
not.
there
A
is.
story and a plot are the same. The
No,
plot
there's a
is
difference
story.
between the two.
But this
Because
is
the plot has more pointed moments that change the direction of a story.
No, I disagree.
I agree.
I think it's
you know that's how Scorsese. He described his own film Goodfellas in that nature. He said, he goes, this film has a story, but there's no plot. Look it up. That's what he said. And I think he's right.
I disagree. I think story.
I think
when I'm going to read you a story, from your childhood, you're going to hear, happily ever after.
Well, no, it still has a story point. It has points A to B to Z, but a plot has, I think, more moments that cause more intrigue. There's more changes to the story. There could be plot twists. You might. But then there's a story with. I'm just saying.
Just for the sake of not arguing about it, let's say.
Well, no, it's not an
okay,
argument.
fine.
I'm just saying. Think about it. And there's movies. Memento has
It's
like
really
a plot.
not important.
Memento has
This
a plot.
film is a film with no basic guideline. I mean, there are no, there's just kind of markers on a page where this film goes, but it does not have an arc. It's just a series of scenes. To me, it's one of my least favorite Lean films, but I mean not Lynch, but Lynch films. But at the same time, that's really a major compliment, because even the worst of David is if we want to go into the Dune world where he had no control over that making of that film, but
he added elements though that weren't in the book that were kind of interesting.
Okay, but to get into this for a moment, it's a strange little movie. But Nick, let's talk about Nick. He's the crux of this film. He really is the main refrain. He's the main star. He's the guy. He's the man who is basically taking. They're on their Wizard of Oz journey, if you will. The Yellow Brick Road. They're just going through this, traveling away. He has just murdered a guy. At the beginning of the film, he goes to jail. He gets out of jail, and his beloved Peanut, played by our beloved Laura Dern here, who is just sexy as hell in this moment. I have to say, she
ravishing
really is.
in this film.
She's ravishing. She's just lovely.
Yeah.
There's just a total.
And
her
she's
mom
always
is in
been
the
an
film.
excellent actress.
Her mom did win the Oscar for this
very
film.
good.
Diane Ladd. She did win Best Actress supporting in this.
I think
movie.
supporting, yeah.
Yeah, and she was great. Isabel Rossellini.
She's in that too. You got.
She and David were.
I love Willem Dafoe in this
had
movie.
a 3-year affair.
Gross.
Yeah, William Dafoe almost steals the show.
Yeah, he's great.
Is Bobby? What was his name? Bobby something.
So sleazy.
I'm Bobby.
We're making porno.
Yeah, I'm Bobby such and such.
Yeah, I forget his name too, but he.
I love the way.
I always love Willem too.
I love William the way
great.
he seduces her. She's alone, and Nicolas Cage has gone off somewhere, and he goes to seduce her. Literally, she has just puked on the floor, which the flies are buzzing around. This is pure Lynch, and he comes in to seduce her. And basically does, and he pulls it off, and she's ready to give her. He's sick. He's got this like jack-o'-lantern face, and there's, it's like he's got this sleazy little porn star mustache.
One of the sleaziest performances I've ever seen.
One of the sleaziest characters
Ugly,
ever
gross.
portrayed on film. I mean, it really is. I mean, Lynch will do that.
He must have had a blast playing that.
I bet he did.
What
too.
a fun role to play.
I bet he did too,
Yeah.
and I love the way he loses his head as his character comes to a close. But you remember he bangs the shotgun down.
If you haven't seen it, sorry, he just spoiled it for
Well,
you.
that's okay. If you haven't seen it by now, there's something wrong with it.
Well, no, there could be some 20-year-old
There's
kid
no
in the
way.
college dorm who never heard of the film before.
Yeah, that 20-year-old.
You found out about movies out of the blue all of a sudden, and you're like, hey.
That kid ain't watching us, my friend. Let me be honest.
No, but what if
But
in
regardless.
10 years somebody stumbles along this video on YouTube and they say, hey, what's this movie I heard about on Film Banter?
They'll stumble upon it.
What's this show I heard about on Film? This show called Film Banter.
This show called Film Banter.
They made 400 episodes
Yeah.
that only about,
I know, and it was only because
a couple hundred people knew
the
about.
two stars shot themselves at
On
the end
camera.
of the 400th episode. That's the only reason. That's the way we get an instant audience. We just one of us blows their brains out.
Only if it gets posted online.
Well, if it did get posted,
It's a snuff film,
but it would
then.
definitely make some headlines. And
There are
we
some.
would become
There
famous.
are some stuff on YouTube about that where you can watch videos.
Yeah.
There's a famous one of this guy that got on camera and blew his head off.
Yeah,
Horrifying.
It has happened many.
Yeah, very
times.
sad.
But regardless, I
But,
love this film. I love Nicholas in it.
You gotta watch
Not one
it,
of my
though,
favorite
if you-
David Lynch films, but that's okay. I'm a big David
If
Lynch
you haven't
fan.
seen it, you have
but
to see it.
Nicholas,
You have to
he's
watch it.
young. He's right out of Peggy Sue Got Married, I believe.
A little later. That was a lot earlier than this. Peggy Sue Got Married
Well,
was in the 80s. This
no,
is 1990.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he just kind of come out of that.
Moonstruck was 3 years before.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true too, and I did like him in Moonstruck. I thought.
He was great.
We didn't even mention Moonstruck.
I know, that's a good one.
Throughout the course.
He's
of
cher the
today.
wooden hand.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I did go through.
Cher won the Oscar for
Well,
that.
when I was looking up Nicolas Cage films, I did go through IMDb.
Yeah, I
and
looked at it
started
to
looking
remind
at-
myself.
Just to remind myself, I did want to choose Bad Lieutenant, Port of.
I know. That
Whatever
was
it
one of the
is.
ones I was leaning towards.
I
I was also
love that
leaning
film.
towards adaptation, but I didn't.
And I like Bangkok
Both
Dangerous. I know you don't care for that.
I didn't love it. It's okay.
I like that
It's not
film
one of
a
my
lot.
favorites.
I love that it had a John Woo kind of feel about it.
It did.
I really liked the whole violent essence of that film.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Nick just did a movie a couple of years ago. I thought that was kind of funny, and you always remember the name of it. I don't. Where he plays this kind of crazy Southern guy who wants to fly and go kill Bin Laden.
Oh yeah, that's Army of One.
Army of
Yeah,
One.
I didn't get a chance to finish that one.
I didn't
watched
care
it.
for that.
I saw about 25 minutes of it. I was really
I
into
didn't
it.
really care
I gotta
for it
finish
at
that.
all.
You just
Yeah.
reminded me that I didn't finish that one.
Okay. Listen, if we're over an hour, we should.
Well, yeah, we're gonna
move
do
on.
Wild at Heart.
Okay, it's already
basically,
done.
what else can we say? Check out Wild at Heart if
It's
you haven't
done.
seen it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's good. It's fun.
Great Nicolas Cage film.
I agree.
We'll speed it up here though.
God, why does this do this?
I'll be happy to finish Drive Angry and do mine, and then you do yours.
Go ahead.
Or no, why don't you?
Why is this doing this to
I
me?
don't know.
There we go.
Okay, pause.
I
Oh, too late. Why don't you do Mastic Man?
no.
Do it.
I want to do this.
Nicholas Cage.
Finish your Drive
Do you
Angry.
know this film?
Yes.
I actually have the 3D.
No, I've seen the Drive Angry. So
Oh.
this is your second choice.
Well, I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The only reason I truly love this movie is because of Amber Heard. This is the
I know.
first time I saw Amber.
You fell in love with her.
I
It's
fell
okay.
in love with Amber Heard. There's no question.
So did
about
Johnny
it.
Depp.
So did Johnny Depp, and he
He did it on
I
film,
think he
though.
beat the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did it in that miserable.
Well, they
Rum
met-
Diary.
they met in Rum Diary, yeah.
Yeah, true. But I like Amber. I think she was. I think this movie is fun.
It's a total guilty
goof.
pleasure, big time.
Yeah, it is, and you can
It's
almost
fun.
see where he went and made those Ghost Rider films
Of course,
after this.
yeah.
because he's battling the demons of hell.
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
he
very
escapes
end.
hell, and then he's being chased by William Fichtner, who plays
I love
one of the
William
agents.
Fichtner
Me
in this
too.
film. Yeah, he's
I love him in everything. He's
fantastic.
always been great.
Always great. He was
I
on
love
Prison
him.
Break for years
He
and years
was,
and years.
yeah.
Now, believe it or not, he's on the show Mom with
Allison Janney.
Allison
Oh, that's
Janney.
pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a major role. He's in a wheelchair the whole show.
Has he been there since the beginning?
He plays her boyfriend. No, only for about 3 seasons now.
Oh.
But he's her boyfriend on
That's
the
cool.
show. But I love this movie. It's just it's a white trash
Yeah.
kind of film as they kind of go through this and they get into this tribunals of hell
Mm-hmm.
where I forgot who's actually being chased by these demons from hell. It's not Nick, is it?
Well, no. In this film, he breaks into hell to rescue his daughter.
Right.
And hell comes chasing after him out of hell.
Yeah, and
on Earth.
There's a bit of the Matrix in that.
Yeah.
The William Fichtner character kind of plays a.
He's basically Agent Smith. is
He's
what he
doing
is.
Agent Smith,
Kind
of
yeah.
course, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
I like this film.
It's entertaining.
I love it.
It doesn't pretend to be
guilty.
anything else that it's not.
I have the film in my library. I love to throw it on. I haven't thrown it on in a while, but I should. I will.
Okay.
It's just got some neat little revengey scenes there towards the beginning when Amber's being
It's
hunted
extremely
down by
watchable.
her violent boyfriend, and Nick just goes and saves her, and that's how they meet more or less. But I like this film quite a bit. It's just absolute bullshit, though. It's
Yeah.
bubble gum for the brain,
Exactly.
but it's great eye candy if you enjoy the candy of Amber and Nicholas together in a
You
kind
could
of
watch a lot worse.
devil worshipy kind of cartoon kind of film. I like it.
And you could watch a lot worse in Nicolas Cage's career.
There you
That's
go.
definitely true.
All right,
Okay. There we go.
there you go.
So, this is one of my favorite Nicolas Cage films.
Okay.
I love 8mm. It's a Joel Schumacher film. If you have not seen it, it's a pretty simple storyline. Nicolas Cage is a private detective who's hired by an old lady who finds amongst her deceased husband's belongings a snuff film. And she's appalled by it.
Right.
She's got all this money to spare.
Who plays that old lady?
I
You
forget her
remember?
name.
Okay. Nobody famous. Is she famous?
I don't think she's super famous.
Okay.
I don't know if I took note of her film. I think I forgot to write her name down. I apologize. I got everybody else's name. So she wants to know, is this snuff film real? So that's what happens. He's this detective. He goes out to Los Angeles to try to figure out if this thing is real.
Right.
And Kathleen Keener plays his wife. They have a
Oh,
young
okay.
daughter at home.
Oh, interesting.
James Gandolfini and Peter Stormare play two sleazebags that he's kind of surveying in this film to see if they're involved.
Okay.
And he hires Joaquin Phoenix, who plays this guy who knows a lot about the industry. He works at a porn store.
Okay.
It's a very interesting film. It's intriguing. It's written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who also wrote Seven.
Ah.
And it's a detective film, but
Okay.
it's got some action.
You know, I haven't seen it since it. I think
Came out
last
in
time I saw it in the theater.
1999.
I think
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater.
I saw it in the theater too.
My wife was getting her transplant in that very year, so if I even did see it in the
It didn't
theater,
even register.
Didn't even register.
Yeah.
My brain was just in
I
another
understand.
dimension of space and time.
But I really like this film. It's one of my
Okay.
favorite hit films of his.
Interesting.
In general, I actually would put this in one of my favorite films. In general, yeah.
Wow.
I'd say if I
Your
had
top 20 or top 50 or top 100,
top 100,
top 200,
100.
top 400,
I'm not gonna go that
top
far.
1,000.
No. Do you have a? Can you have 1,000 favorite films? That's a lot.
I could come up with 1,000.
I probably could too, but it'll take
Yeah.
some time.
It would take some time.
But definitely, it's a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought Nick was pretty good. He does have a couple moments in this film that I thought the acting was a bit too much. He went a little too far.
Okay.
But that's okay. That was what he
Joel
did
Schumacher
in
is,
that
you
film.
know, I don't
you
think
know?
he's a great director by any means.
Well, I think he also gave Nick Cage free reign because this is when he was hot.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
only a couple years off his Oscar. You know?
Okay.
He won 95. This was 99.
What did he win for?
Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh,
We just
okay.
discussed it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I say check out 8mm. It's on all the streaming
No,
platforms.
I'm talking about Joel Schumacher.
Oh, I'm sorry. What are you saying?
What, did Joel Schumacher win anything?
No, I was
We were
saying Nick
talking
won.
about- No, I was
say,
talking about Joel Schumacher.
No, I didn't say Joel won.
Because I
Oscar.
said specifically just now, moments ago, I said, I don't think he's a great director. He did do that Batman film with.
Well, he did the last. He did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which were the two worst.
Which I
Yeah.
well, no, I like Batman Forever, the one with Val Kilmer.
That was okay, but it still wasn't as good as the other.
No,
as the
I
first one.
love that film.
No.
I really like that.
It's not one of my
film a
favorites,
lot.
but it's
I
nowhere
think
near
it's
as bad
great.
as Batman and Robin.
Nicole Kidman, Val, I
Yeah.
thought are great in that movie.
Yeah,
I love
she
the
was
way
good.
it looks. Jim Carrey is the
Yeah, I don't
Riddler.
hate the movie, but it's
Oh,
not
I like
one of
it
my
a lot.
favorites.
I like it a lot. But Joel on a.
But
on
I
a
like
whole-
Joel though. I love
Oh, yeah.
Falling Down. I love that movie.
Well, Falling Down
That's
is an
great.
interesting. I don't love that film
Really?
either.
Oh,
My
it's-
nephew
it's a
does.
fun
but
movie.
For me, I never thought it
I
was.
really
anything
liked it. I
great.
love Michael. That's part of it. Is that I'm a really big
I
Michael
know.
Douglas fan.
I know.
I'll be sad when
Never
he's gone.
cared for that film though.
Okay.
Never cared for that.
Anyway, 8mm. I say check it out. It's worth it. We'll move on to my next choice, which is
Pictures of Matchstick Man. There we go.
Matchstick Men.
All right.
This is a
You got,
Ridley Scott film from
Sam Rockwell?
2003. Sam Rockwell.
Yep.
Alison Lohman. These two guys, Sam Rockwell, Nicolas Cage, they're con artists, and when they're in the middle of planning a really big job, out of the blue,
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage's young teenage daughter, who he hasn't seen in years, shows up. And so that's the.
I have many friends who adore this.
It's a great film.
Who love
That's the
this.
crux of the storyline.
Yep.
But the big push for me for recommending this film and why I like it a lot is I think Nicholas is very good. He plays a guy in this film who not only has Tourette's, he's obsessive compulsive. So he's got all these crazy things with his personality
Okay.
on top of being this burglar
Right.
and this con artist. And so everything in his life has to be very regimented or he gets crazy.
Okay.
And here comes out of the blue this girl who's kind of a huge blow to his very organized, very structured life.
Okay.
And it's a very intriguing movie. I liked it a lot. It's fun. It's very entertaining. It's very watchable. Sam Rockwell is excellent.
Yeah.
And
well, as always.
Yeah, as always. That's without saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just really like this movie. It really is one of my favorite Nicolas Cage
and this,
films.
what year was this?
And I think he was excellent in this
99?
movie. 99.
Yeah.
No. 2003.
Okay.
8mm was 1999.
All right. Yeah. So these are films that went right through my.
Well,
my
you were in a different
filtering
world at that
system.
point.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to.
It's too bad.
I'm sorry for me that
I say this. Rewatch them both now.
I
with a
should do
fresh
that.
pair of eyes.
Maybe so. Maybe
He's
so.
really good. You know, it's not easy to be able to play somebody with these tics and time when you're going to do the tick. Because all of a sudden he'll start barking. It's very, very interesting.
No, it's true.
It's not
true.
easy.
No, it isn't
I
easy.
thought that was great.
I like to point out another Nick Cage film that I really like was called
one?
Next, where he could predict the next
Yeah.
45 seconds or so.
Yeah, and he was a guy that was in Vegas, kind of.
Yeah, and what's her name was in that? Jessica
Biel, correct?
was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was okay.
I
was
enjoyed that.
It wasn't
I
one of
love
my
the
favorites of
concept.
his.
I love the concept.
It's a fun
of it.
concept.
I thought it was a good kick. Yeah.
I mean, we could go forever. He's made a lot of great Port of New Orleans, as you said.
Yes.
We'll do another, maybe in a year, we'll do a whole show on Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
But that's pretty much the gist of it. We want to just highlight some of his movies for you. Since we did touch on Mandy, which we both say, check it out.
Well, you came and you gave.
So now we're going to move on to just telling you nothing other than
do you have
what is
upcoming
what's coming
things?
next.
Okay, so what do we got?
Opening this week.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. What graphic?
And we're going to just touch on them.
Hellfest.
I'm not even going to pause it. Hellfest, coming out this week. It's a horror film that takes place in an amusement park.
Oh,
you might go see this film.
I might. I see the
And
poster.
then we have The Old Man and the Gun with, this is Robert Redford. This is a film that I think is only limited release.
Oh, Tom Waits.
Tom Waits is with Danny Glover. We have also Casey Affleck.
Right.
In this film, he plays, it's based on a true story. He plays a burglar that was in jail, a thief. I think a bank robber more than anything. And then he
Robert
escapes.
Redford, by the way, who announced his retirement, has now announced that he's not retired.
I know. He said it. He shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
Because I can never say never.
Yeah. He's now doing another
course.
film. Yeah.
And then we have Night School.
No desire to see that whatsoever.
I think it looks terrible. I'm not even going to go back.
horrifying.
I'm not even going to go back to it because it looks like garbage.
It looks like absolute
My
garbage.
apologies
Nice
to everybody
film.
involved,
Any
but
Kevin Hart movie these days, I can't even go there.
I didn't laugh.
You know, I like Jumanji, sorta, kinda. The Rock was in it, and they have a good chemistry together.
I didn't laugh once at the trailer, and I've seen the trailer many times.
I have too. I do find Tiffany Haddish, however, to be hilarious.
I think they're both very talented, but the movie doesn't look good.
Kevin to me is a one-note guy.
Well, no, but I like as a comedian. I think he's good. I like him as a comedian.
Oh, I don't.
I haven't loved him really as a movie
I watched
actor.
his stand-up special. He had 2 stand-up specials on Netflix now.
The one that I saw, I
can't
thought
watch
was pretty
either
fun.
of them.
But
The one where he did the James Bond opening. Did you see that one with Halle Berry? And it's like a James Bond.
I didn't see that.
Takeoff.
Was that good?
Horrible.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Horrible. I can't stand him.
All right, well, we're not going to go see
He
this.
stood there literally talking about a raccoon that came to his house.
That's lame. You're not going to get this review on this show.
He thinks he's what he says is
And in
funny.
this, we're not going to review this either. Little Women, but I want to let you know that's coming out this week. Another Little Women film.
Oh, great.
Yay for somebody. Anyway, so they're celebrating the big generation, 150th anniversary.
How come you don't have Venom up here?
Because Venom's not
Lady
next
Gaga?
week.
Well,
that's not
the
next
following
week. This is the next week.
Okay.
So we're done, guys. That's our show. Tune in for more fun next week.
Okay.
Where we'll be reviewing probably not much of what was on that list.
Yeah, I don't know.
know.
I don't know what we actually have to review.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, we'll have
we'll
to
be
figure
back.
it out.
Regardless,
Maybe
we'll be
do a
back.
theme show. We
theme
may
show
even
will be
be
good.
back in Secaucus.
We'll see. I'm not
doing
really.
a
I never
green
heard back from
screen.
them, so I'm not holding
Really?
my breath.
Adam never got back to you?
No, I guess they're busy over there. I didn't hear back. Usually,
How
he gets
busy
back
can
to
he
me.
be? I don't think he's busy at all, personally.
I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't know what's going on.
We're talking about our old studio. This is your
About
first
our
time
old
ever
studio,
seeing our
dudes.
show. We were shooting this show in a studio for a while. Now we're back at our humble beginnings.
Really nice.
So next week,
I can't
guys,
believe
we'll
we
see
did 17 shows there.
at least
that
if not
right?
18. I have to look at the exact number. We
Oh,
did a
wow.
bunch. Yeah.
17 shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like
Basically,
we did that many, but
February through roughly July-ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I really did enjoy the people there.
It
and
was a
I
good
enjoyed
experience.
It was a
I
great experience
liked it
for
a lot.
us.
It was a lot of fun.
Just as a guy, a couple of guys doing a movie review
I
show.
enjoyed it.
I think we had a good
Yeah,
time.
I
there.
did too.
Got to meet some great people.
We made some
that-
good friends.
We really did. I
And
made
it was a
great
very
friend.
memorable
Yeah.
experience. It was
Very
a
true.
different element. It's a different show.
Was indeed.
But I liked it.
Absolutely true.
Maybe we'll be back. Maybe we won't. Maybe something else will evolve as 1.3.
Right.
Whatever.
There you go.
So next week, guys, we'll see you. That's the end. Until next time.
This is the end. No, my own.
Road. Yeah, where we going now? Yeah, Mr. Superman.